Hello YouTube, welcome back to my silly survival world. So I think today's plans are rather clear. We've got a couple of garden additions to get to later today, but for the time being, I need to get our pathways set out. Yesterday, we got a bunch of materials here. You can see that we are pretty stacked in every department. There's more waiting for us down there. So I say we delay not, and let's get over here, where I said that I want to get these connected, and do that. So this is 7 blocks, so I'm just gonna let it be probably 7 blocks in the other direction. That would probably move the tree back, unless we went 1 forward from that. The tree is 3 away there, 4 away there, so let's base it on the tree instead. Because I do like the tree's current placement. I don't want it to be too close to the cakery, which at some point, pretty soon I feel like we're probably going to work on automating cake production a little more. And I might even lower my prices for the future, because I would just like to sell cakes. I think it would be nice. So in the name of making sales, when we do that, I will be lowering the price. Who knows how low I'll go? At some point, I'd like to get more people on the server. If you'd like to join the server, you can shoot me a message over on Discord, and I will actually get you added. But for the time being, I just want to think about... Well, I don't know where I was going with that. Whilst I am struggling to say sentences in a regular manner, I do want to mention that we are on episode 32. I feel like at this point we can officially say pretty cleanly that it's been a month. I mean, we did start in February, but hey, we're at 32. We have half a stack of episodes. I think that is pretty cool. Now, I guess I should do at least a little bit of planning here on where the pathways are going. So I'm thinking we'll probably have a gap here. This would not be a terrible place for a building to go. In fact, I might build here in the foreseeable future. I do have a decent idea of what I want my future shop to look like. Let's actually make this path even on both sides. Yeah, I like that. So do it like this. The 1 block there is kind of awkward, but that's okay. That's okay. We can work with it in the future. So we generally know that we'd want these to meet in the middle. And the terrain is really uneven, which I feel like is going to make this quite difficult. Like, I don't know if I would want... I do think that I want to keep the paths straighter, right? I don't want them to be so bumpy the whole time, but how I go about straightening them out is its own whole deal, because I don't want to just flatten the region, right? That's the boring answer, and I don't want bumpy paths, so I think I'll have to aim for something in the middle, I suppose. You know, I feel like I have been talking too much with recent episodes, because the thing is, I go into editing, right? And I usually record about 2 hours for each of these episodes, but here lately, I have been going into editing, and I, like, cut down on the silent parts and everything, and then I look at it, and it's like, oh, there's still a whole hour left, and it was not like that before. I've actually been talking a lot more during recording than I used to, and I don't know if that is a good thing, because it ends up being quite a lot more work for me, and I'm sure you all have noticed that episodes have gotten longer here as of very recent. I mean, that's just my feelings. I am always open to hear what you all think of the current episode length. Am I blabbering on too much? Would you like me to get to the point, get the stuff done a little quicker? Or do we love talking about nothing? Is that, like, our favorite thing? Now, this is an interesting square. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think we would get rid of a square like this. It's more so, what are we gonna do with it? Right? I mean, okay, I said building. I don't think I would fit a building here. It would have to be like 5 blocks wide at best. That is not a real building. Actually, no, maybe we take the path and just move up real quick over to here, and then we leave this. Yeah, this can be open real estate for the future. All right, here we are. So we take the path, and I'm going to move it 2, maybe 3. Yeah, I'm thinking actually 3 at once here, so then we can fix a little bit of that issue I was talking about with the overall bumpiness of the path. I think my solution is going to be trying to get as much of the movement up and down in one place as possible. So we go 3 up at once, and then we can go straight for a little bit, and then maybe we do another 3 up again? Not perfectly certain about that, but then we do have potential to do things here on the sides. So I guess it is worth it. In the end, I think that is like a serious plan. Maybe we even take it a 4th one up, because the way the terrain is shaped, I think we could get away with going up like 3 again, right here. But I don't really want to have another bump right here. So we will bring the path on up, and we will have to fill out the sides, and that's going to use a little more of our resources, but hopefully that's worth it in the end. And I am trying to maintain the pattern here as we go. I know, like, down on the walkways across in these areas, I haven't textured that pathway yet. I don't know when I will do that, because it is just generally going to be a lot of labor. So it's not something I'm exactly stoked to do, but at the same time, it would look nicer if I did do it. All right, perfect. So we get to here, and now we would go another 3 blocks up, and maybe I could even do some small brick walls along the sides. Now, I don't know maybe that would be worth it. You know how, like, in suburban areas, I mean, a lot of you probably live in areas with this kind of thing, but I don't. I live, like, out in the mountains. Have, like, a small brick wall here where the land comes out and is, like, raised up to, and that would just look cute, right? I could do that kind of thing in a couple spots, but let's actually focus up. Let's focus up and do what we came to do. Ooh, wait. Oh. That's not... That doesn't come to a straight... Ooh, here's an idea. Here's an idea. What if the path turns over here? Right? So now we can have another turn that comes and meets in the middle of this. And I want to actually, instead of extending here, just extend the one path out of the middle. And I guess we could do another staircase. And that staircase would save us from going up 2 like we did over here. And that would save a bunch on resources. Okay, good residential planning happening here. Or commercial planning. This isn't a residential zone. Alright, we're going to need to sleep real quick, but we can get a quick bird's eye view on what pathways we have gotten done. Now, here's what we're looking like, so... Ooh. Okay. Yeah, actually, I vibe pretty hard with this. A lot of just, like, different squared off areas, but not doing anything that is too grid-like. I like it that way. I do like that. Now, let's go ahead and get this path here connected up. Now, there's still a lot of question around what I'm actually going to do once we reach the train station. That's not something I intend to build today, but I do need to actually plan for it somewhat, since we are going to have the pathways extending over to the shop and the construction building. why am I calling it the construction building? It's the building where buildings are built. I need to call it by the correct name. Now, is there any chance that the railway could, like, go over this? Or actually, in some, like, cities, they'll have these raised, almost like a bridge over top of a roadway, but it could apply to a railway as well. Hi there, fellas. You all look, very prepared. Hold up, my red shulker isn't right here. Now, I know that I set my red oh, there it is, through the grass. Okay, let's go ahead and give that up. Yeah, yeah, they know they don't want to mess with this. Okay, you know what? They're still gonna catch some heat. Oh, hi there, hey there. They left you behind, didn't you? There. That was honestly especially cool. I kind of wish this thing did more direct damage. I mean, it is quite good against groups, like so, but its single target I don't think is really excellent. You know what? Maybe I lied. This was like a pretty solid group of fellows. Yep, well, that takes care of that problem. Alrighty, so we can go ahead and stick our Holy Wrath back away. Now, let's again get a little bird's eye view here. We could consider the path back down into Dell's house. I don't as well know what I'm really gonna do about, like, the Cakeways exit here. So many ooh, wait. I have an idea. Alright, we're gonna need to go get some spruce wood, but oh, I think this is gonna be perfect. Okay, all I'm missing is a water bucket. There is some water here. Wonder if Dell doesn't have an infinite water source I can borrow off. Sure does. And now, let's go ahead and head through the cakeways to pop out of that hole there. And right here, I will make it extend the rest of the way up. Fences, pop, 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 pop. We do need this to be 2 blocks tall. Then we're going to set fence gate. We won't do fence gates on the other 2. And finally, we can jump. Well, okay, no, we can't jump on top of this. We can just stack up real quick. Well, no, we can. Fine, I will nerd pole. Whatever, it's fine. And I don't have any slabs. That is quite unfortunate. But I'm sure you can see what I'm going for. I got a little well set up here. So that's what you pop out of if you take the cakeways. Alright, let's try and get the last slab in. There we go. That is very cute. Very small and cute. Alright, moving on. I got very distracted there for a second, but that's a-okay, because I think it was a wonderful distraction. Let's go ahead, fill in the terrain here that I messed up. So you go this way, and I feel like this would probably connect over to the shop. So this, I want to take it off of the bridge, and there's a lot I haven't considered about this rail design, but generally, do we have the stuff for it in here? No, we don't. Okay, well, generally, I need to find some way of making this step downward, first off, because the terrain out from here is nowhere near even, and it will eventually hopefully cover the same kind of tracks that those tracks are covering. So, what are we doing? Are we doing over, under, around? Maybe this comes up and goes all the way over, and then you walk underneath. You know, the thing is, I genuinely kind of like that idea, just because I conceptually like the experience of walking underneath the railway. I feel like that would feel cool. And we could do some different type of supports. Not quite like those. Those are very big, kind of meant to be seen from a distance, but some made from like fence. that could look very cute. I see the vision. I see the vision, and I think for now, at least part of me is willing to trust in that vision. I trust that future me will handle this with tact and care. So current me, will not at all. I am just going to go for it, and that guy will figure it out later. Okay, we got a little bit of pathway coming out from the building where buildings are built. So this goes out a little bit, and I don't want this in any way to feel too even with Dell's, since these two buildings are already very close to parallel, and I do think it makes them a little awkward. The pathways are a good opportunity for us to kind of offset them visually. I mean, okay, don't get me wrong, right? I don't know what I'm talking about, but like, you know, I can take the pathways and rather than having one horizontal line shoot through here like this, instead, we have it go out this direction on this side, and then on the other side, it would probably continue from somewhere over here, potentially, and it could create another pretty solid size square, like so. Yeah, okay. I think you all see the vision, right? Right now I'm thinking we have a square come out here. That will cut off a space about, like, not quite like that. This, and then, okay, you all probably can't tell anything about this just for me tracing lines. We're just gonna have to build. Ooh, wait, we don't actually have bricks left, so we need to go craft more. Oh no, does that mean I probably won't be able to make all that much more pathway before we run out? But that's okay. We'll use what we have, at least, for sure. Okay, I've got 3 more stacks, so that means I believe I've gone through over half of our supply. Oh, brick blocks are expensive. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew making this out of brick blocks was going to be a pain, but let me tell you, I am only making the best for you. I don't know what I said for you. None of you are going to be walking. No, that's not true, actually. A considerable number of you very well may be walking these paths. It's quite strange when half of your audience are actually your friends that play on the server. How do I talk about that? So yes, it is entirely accurate to say that some number of you are in fact going to be walking these paths. Unless you don't want to, I guess. You could just not walk on them despite me, but that would be unkind, so please don't do that. Alright, big nice staircase right here. We're not far from connecting up to Dell. I mean, I might leave a gap just for the future concept of the railway coming through. Maybe... no, well... Maybe you can just walk on the track? How well does that work? You know, imagine you just have a staircase here next to the andesite and you just walk over it. Like, that's functional. You certainly can do that. And that's not entirely unrealistic. There are railroad crossings for roads, right? So walking paths could do the same. Now here, we come 2 more steps down. Now, the railway is on this level, so should we keep this raised to where its level will be equal with the railway? Dang, that is such an intense question. That is such an intense question. I'm going to make the judgment call right now, and it's because I have a very specific vision of this in my head, that we will in fact not do that. I am generally going to still have this continue out a little bit further. So the stairs would start on this block, and we do need to make more, which is only going to further carve into our very limited brick supplies. Oh, man. But now we get this built out. And when we do extend the railway, I have a plan. And I think it could make this feel cooler, more dynamic from both ends, but we'll have to get there when we get there. Okay, we need stone cutter so that we can get a couple more stairs ready. Just like that. Ah, it is a shame those bricks took a hot second to collect, and going all the way back out to the jungle, it's a bit of a walk, but that's fine. Not something I think we will do today, but something that I will do eventually. Alright, stair, brick, stairs, brick, bad brick, good brick, stairs, more stairs, and now, not quite. I say probably it's best that the stairs come here. So then everything in between this will be a touch more path. Now, I'm going to have to come up with ideas, for sure, but I think there is all sorts of stuff we can do just to make all these various segments of path feel interesting. You know, like the little well over here. I want more stuff like that, because that's honestly really cute. That's wonderful. All sorts of potential for micro builds, I will call them. Now, I guess we will probably be dedicating the rest of our bricks, potentially, to seeing if we can't cover this entire stretch here. Oh no, Dell's door is 2 blocks wide. That means it's not going to fit evenly with a 3-block wide road. Oh, it should be okay. It should be okay. I'll leave that to the landowner to figure out. Okay, we've got a good mix of terracotta. Now we just get a little bit of granite that can further define some shapes out of this. I might be putting them too much on one side. I'm going to start trying to put them more over on this end of the block. Alrighty. And that leaves some wonderful gaps for us to fill all the way up with brick. And I do think that we... I do think that we clear this path a-okay. Alright, there we go. This overlay on the grass looks a little strange from an angle. It's actually the same reason that I don't use simple grass flowers, because those textures get really weird from side angles. Now we're going to have to sleep one more time, but I guess that does also give us one more chance here to look down on the pathways and see what we've got. We do have more brick left, so we can do maybe 1-2 more connections. We will give it a good look here when the night is over. Okay. I like everything that's happening right now. So we can take this path, extend it out, maybe cut through here. No, that's against the rail. Oh, maybe it can be against the railway. No, but it probably shouldn't. We cut like here. That creates another plot of land. I say we cut like straight across, connect back into this, and then this goes straight out like that, and that'll create a couple different interesting blocks of land. There is something to be said about every plot of land so far being rectangular, but it's whatever. It's whatever, man. I think it's fine. It'll be okay. All right, let's determine now that here, like in the middle of this, we're going to go in a straight line. So I'm standing in the center block. And then this pathway will meet this pathway. And make sure I am aligned with that. I am. So that right there is the center block between these two meeting. And then I think that will continue until it hits this. So we can... I don't know if this is the best use of our resources. I want to get as much laid out as we can as cheaply as we can here. All right, we come here, and then we're going to go in a straight line here, and then I think we beeline to my store. If we have anything extra, we can try and connect over there as well. Oh, come on, fella. Come on, fella. Get out of there. I'm not gonna trap you in here. Come on, come on. Please. Please. Yes. Yay, we got the chicken out of the hole. Okay. And we can patch that up, and there is a connected walkway going from here. Oh. Okay, well, not fully connected. Not fully connected at all. There we are. Now we're fully connected. And we can look at that from above. Oh, look at that. Okay, yeah, we've got some wonderful ideas shaping up here. So now we can connect. Do we have the materials? Maybe. Maybe. If we do, this is definitely the last one we get hooked up. Alright, so we have something like this going on, and now we just need to get the blocks all mixed up in the middle here, and hopefully there's enough remaining brick block. Alright, here's the moment of truth. I went really heavy on terracotta, not quite as heavy on granite, but I do think... Oh, just barely. Just barely. We had 4 bricks left. Well, it came down to the wire, even with how lenient I was on the terracotta for that segment. But that is some... Well, this isn't very satisfying, is it? Oh well, oh well, we're gonna have to leave it like that. That is a couple of roads for our commercial district. Now that we have some roads in, I'm not going to be finishing any more roads for today. What we will be doing is getting some leaves and saplings. Now, we do have more bricks left. Not a lot, but there are more. Interesting. But we're not gonna touch those for now. Not gonna touch them. Okay, here we have spruce leaves. Birch. We are actually going to need a birch sapling later today. Peony is not a bad idea. Well, I couldn't find my minecart, so it looks like we are going to be walking again. Yippee! I just need to grab a little more bone meal. We might grab bush. Definitely more wildflowers would be nice. I'll probably just bring bones with me, because I imagine we're going to use a lot of bone meal, actually. I think maybe a very soon project is going to be like a moss farm. It's something I've talked about for a little while. We just need to figure out a good spot for it. Like, in terms of farm hierarchy on what I want, it's between like moss farm and gold farm right now. But moss farm could be a nice build project somewhere around here. That's an interesting idea. Nothing's happened with this little region just yet, but I was also thinking around here, which is something I think I've talked about for quite some time now. Either way, I could go either way. Lots of places it could be. For the time being, okay, we don't have any in there. Okay, we have lots of bones. Lots of bones. I'm probably going to AFK the mob farm tonight. That sounds like a pretty good idea. Having more bones, more string, all just very useful stuff. Now, I talked about getting different plants, right? So, I love leaf litter. Let's bring leaf litter with us. Firefly bush, why not, right? We can probably duplicate it with bone meal. Cake. I don't know why, but I'm sure it'll be essential. And spruce saplings, that is the big one. It has been quite some time since we've actually slept in this bedroom up here. I just don't very often, and I think that's unfortunate. Although I do also really like our guest bedroom. I think both of them are really strong. It's just guest bedroom happens to be so much more accessible, being down on the first story, instead of a third story bedroom, which gets a little annoying when you have to run up there all the time. Hold on. Are minecarts? No, the minecart isn't up there. I don't know where it is. We could also set up a nether portal travel for this. In fact, that would actually not be a half bad thing to build, is a nether portal for this area. I have seriously been considering actually writing down like an in-game book and quill of all of our different project ideas for the future, so we can mark them off one by one. I do think it would be cool. That would probably be a really good idea, but it's something that I am, as of this moment, too lazy to start. Alright, so I have just planted a bunch more trees in this direct vicinity. How do we feel about that? Like, if you're down here, how's that look? I genuinely kind of love it. I kind of love how the tree line looks from below. So I do think that, at least for the moment, is a go. At some point, we will almost certainly end up chopping down some number that... Oh my god, wildflowers are so cute. Dude, they're so cute. These are so cute. I need so many more of these in the world. I don't use these nearly as often as I should. I think like every pathway should be lined in them. And they are part of the reason why I brought so many bones with me as well. Because more bone meal equals more wildflower, which equals better world. Yeah, absolutely perfect. Now, beneath a couple of these trees, we can start getting like some leaf litter. We know we want to keep this tree around, so I think it especially should have quite a bit around it. I'm willing to put quite a bit of expense into this one. All right, lovely, lovely. Now, oh dang, we just don't have wildflowers. Okay, we need to make more of these. Okay, I just used a full stack of bone meal on you, and I didn't get a full stack. Oh, it's because the first 3 were used to replicate it, to make it like the other variants. No, I probably said that in a stupid way, so if you don't know what happened, then you still don't, and that's really sad for you, but I do, so I don't know where I was going with that. I no idea at all. I kind of... Whoa, is that... Yo, look at those variants! Oh, those are so cute! Okay. I'm a big fan, such a big fan of these. Really big fan of these. Adorable texture. Let's put a firefly bush here. Can we... Oh, it works like the bush block. How incredibly interesting. Okay, well, we can put a couple firefly bushes around. It'll make the nighttime scene a lot cuter. Now, it was a plan of mine. I want to grow a large spruce tree, mostly for the sheer number of leaves that'll give us. And here I can take out red shulker box, get the shovel put away, replace it with the hoe, stick in that slot. I'm going to go ahead and get to the top of this tree here. And right here at the top, we can grow ourselves a large spruce tree. I am doing it on top of this because, well, that's a terrible one. Give me a better one. Give me one that actually has leaves. I'm growing it up here to avoid podzol infecting the ground because, oh my god, it's so disgusting. You are disgusting, Cube. Cube probably isn't watching this. But, imagine having podzol around your house. Absolutely gross. I want it to be known, I love all my viewers. You all are awesome, except the ones who have podzol in front of their home. I mean, there are contexts in which podzol can work, but not in that concentration. It cannot be that dense. It's so awful. I'm not trying to say that, you know, the kinds of things you do in Minecraft really inform what you're like as a person. I am just saying that you're a bad person if your house looks like that outside. So now that I have made my point clear, I don't want to waste all of the wood off of this. We'll maybe have some use for it soon. But now that we have all of that, we can jump down, catch the vine, pipe. And all of these spruce leaves that we gathered can be used in certain locations, like, say, these. No, I think it should be directly against the pathway. We can have some of, like, that going on. I don't really want it to be all the way around the pathway, unless I do. Yeah, I mean, it's not impossible that I could like that, but I don't think it's exactly what I want to go for. Yeah, especially since it would block off the view of some of these flowers and stuff. So that'd be terrible. That'd be no good. No good whatsoever. Not at all. Nuh-uh. But maybe in a couple of spots like this, like you're leading up to... I really like that, I think. I think I really like that. Do I really like that? I do, because it kind of incorporates the pathway into the cakery a little more. I feel like that's a good thing. It makes things feel more connected. It's a little awkward. It's a little awkward. I'm gonna leave it that way for now. I will. But we can do a couple of sides like that around and about. Well, that was a terrible place for it. The paths are uneven in a lot of spots. Okay. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. I think in the future we have different benches, and we're going to need to come up with lamp designs to go along the sides of these pathways. I mean, okay, I just placed these at, like, random. What if we do 4, gap of 4, 4, gap of 4, so on and so forth, and we could have, like, say, 2 wide benches, potentially, in the future? There we go. I think that is an appropriate set of bushes, right? Maybe we don't on the other end. Maybe we get a spruce tree in here, because it just fits quite well. Get more of the wildflowers, which these things might actually be one of my favorite blocks in the game. They are really, really cute and easy to place everywhere. Sneak in a firefly bush or 2, get one off in the back corner here where you can't really see it, but you'll see the fireflies off of it. In fact, I can hide another one away about like that. Like, yeah, most of the time you're never going to see it, but you'll see the results from it. And it's getting to be nighttime, which means we're actually going to get to see how all the fireflies and everything will look. Maybe... Actually, yeah, Dell has a little copper bulb lamppost here. I think we might actually do like this for the rest of the area. Maybe not exactly this. I want to see maybe if I could get something a touch more detailed. Or maybe we don't. I don't know. That'll be something to figure out. Oh, you can already see the fireflies. Okay, that's really cute. This place is a nice walk. I do know I need to get stairs in over there. This is great. This is great. This is wonderful. This feels like a thumbnail shot to me. Ooh. Wait, that is the thumbnail shot. Yeah, because my house is in frame. Okay, I definitely have extended render distance for that, but I think that... Oh, look at the fireflies! Dude. Oh, they've got the sounds as well? Oh, that is absolutely wonderful. Yeah, a lot more where that came from, for sure. I would say that we have made some wonderful progress today on all fronts. Yeah, for sure. And until we get more buildings in, I will probably plant more trees around. It's not... I don't think it'll stay like that forever, but it does kind of fill out a lot of the empty space. Anybody who wants to build anything here, feel free to cut down some of my trees and make yourself some space for that. But I think for now, this is pretty good. Okay, everybody, we are back in the garden. I know it has been a couple episodes, but we have 5 whole editions. So, welcome to the garden. Cam to the Bam. Maverick X33. Harley Dalglish, Dan S3150, Sad the Titan. If you would like your name featured in a future episode, leave a comment down below and I'll get you added in the next episode I can. Thank you all so much for watching. For the time being, I will see you tomorrow. Bye.